it's Brooke Eagle, and we are back with another episode of the Forsyth Magazines Podcast. And today I have Beth Morphis, the owner of Salem Gymnastics and Swim. This is her first time coming on, and I'm so excited to have her. Hey, Beth.
Hey, good morning. I'm thrilled to be here. I love your magazines, and I love you, and I'm just excited to share a story.
I know. I'm so excited to have you. So Salem Gymnastics and Swim, gosh, y'all have been around for so long. I took gymnastics there as a child, and it's just grown and evolved into so many different things over the years. So I want to dive right in and talk about some of the history.
Yeah. Salem Gymnastics and Swim is truly a family-owned business, and it's all Winston-Salem. My parents started this company when I was in high school. It started on the dining room table.
Oh, my gosh.
And then we opened at a little temporary spot over on the fairgrounds and built a facility off of South Stratford Road. We stayed there for 21 years. Mm-hmm. And then we moved to our current location on Country Club Road, and we actually moved just a couple of weeks before 9/11/2001.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so it was a tough time to move and expand because we were expecting, tons of extra new customers to come in the door, but the phone did not ring.
Oh my gosh.
9/11 was interesting, but nobody stopped bringing their children to sports, which was really interesting.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep that sense of normalcy, but nobody called. It was, I want to say, late October into November before we really started getting the pickup again.
Wow.
Of new students. But we made it through that, and we just love our location.
Oh my gosh, it's huge too. I mean, so when I did gymnastics, it was at your previous location. Mm-hmm. I think I might have done it. I did cheerleading at the current location. Mm-hmm. But yeah, how many gymnasts do you guys have currently?
Oh goodness gracious, we run over 2,000 lessons a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
From what ages?
Yeah, so swimming starts at 3 months old with a Mommy and Me program. It's very soft and gentle and baby focused. And our gymnastics programs start at 12 months old, right when they start walking. Again, it's a parent type class.
Yeah. When do they start on their own with the parents not on the floor with them for gymnastics?
For gymnastics, it starts at 3 years old.
Okay.
On their own. And swimming also starts at 3 years old on their own, unless they want to do a private lesson.
Okay.
So if parents really don't want to get in the water, we do privates with babies as well.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So, and you also have competitive gymnastics. So you have up to age 18?
Yeah, we have through high school. And we love our graduating seniors. We have folks that have been with us, really some of them since they were toddlers, all the way up and through. It's a great way to grow up. And we've had, close to 30 different athletes continue on in the NCAA.
Oh, that's so
which
cool.
Is super exciting. Yeah, we have 2 competing gymnastics right now in NCAA and 1 doing acro. So.
Oh my, acrobatics.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a new part of NC2A.
Yeah, I did not realize that.
Yeah, so it's a neat growth.
That's very cool. And you guys have an Olympian too.
Olympic trials.
Which, good gosh, that is still incredible.
It is pretty incredible. Chris Young grew up with us. He was an athlete of ours from all the way growing up, and he currently still is with us. He coaches our men's team. So our boys have an incredible mentor in Chris, our girls and his wife, Erin. And
his wife's there too. I did not know that.
Yeah, she coaches our girls' team. So
very cool.
And we have lots of folks on our staff that grew up in our program, which is kind of a cool testimony to.
Oh, absolutely.
What the program meant to them growing up and so forth.
So, Beth, what made you decide to jump in this business? How many years ago did you officially? I mean, I guess you've always been involved.
Yeah, really, it's the only place I've ever had a job. So my only paycheck is at Salem Gymnastics and Swim, and I started coming straight out of college, just coaching, teaching. My parents hired my husband when I was in college, so we fell in love and we coached together for decades, really. We would, go every weekend to meets and coach during the week, and it was wonderful. When kids came along, I kind of stepped back a little bit from coaching and let him kind of take the reins on that, and I turned more to the business aspect, which was important because we were growing, particularly as we grew into our new location, and we had all this extra space. We thought it was so big, right? We moved from 8,000 square feet to 27,000 square feet.
Oh my gosh.
And so we said, well, we're just going to be Salem Gymnastics Sports Center, and we're going to add all these other sports in, right? So we had dance, we had martial arts, we had kid fitness, we went through baby yoga and cheer extreme, and so many different programs came in and in and in. But gymnastics grew and swelled. And as the bigger gymnastics got, the more these, other programs kind of got pushed out to the sides. So we ended up with being just gymnastics. And in 2016, we added swim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when the swimming was added. That was very exciting.
Yeah, the swim school is pretty cool because private swim schools have kind of been a phenomena in the U.S. starting in about 2000. And we were able to pop in, because we were 2016, so many swim schools had already grown, and we were able to kind of learn from their mistakes as far as just the physical layout of how you build a swim school, what you do in that pump room, which is just this huge chemistry project. And it's so important and vital to get that right. And also lessons, and the simplicity of learning to swim, and just the importance of that one-on-one, the instructor with the kids. We keep our classes small, we keep our water warm, so it's really a very gentle process learning how to swim.
Yeah, well, and it's so important to get kids, when they're super young, get them comfortable with the water, and especially if they already are doing gymnastics, it's a nice little, they can be in the same place.
Yeah, and what's been interesting is people have learned that, especially little tiny children, if they learn to if they swim on a regular basis, get under that water, and are also above water on a regular basis, their brains develop in a whole different way, all kinds of different synapses, and they end up so far ahead of their peers in academic and developmental ways. It's just been fascinating.
That's not surprising, but very interesting. Mm-hmm. So I have been seeing on social media lately that there's been a bigger push to encourage boys to start gymnastics. How would you, if somebody, I know when I was a kid, it just wasn't quite as common for boys to do gymnastics, but I think it's so important for them to be in there too. What's something that you would tell parents who may be old school and be like, oh, that's just for my daughter?
Yeah. Gymnastics really is the ultimate foundation sport for any sport, because when you're in gymnastics, you're going to learn how to be flexible, you're going to learn strength, you're going to learn a lot of coordination, you're going to learn how to be inverted and right side up, you're going to learn how to do things on your right side, your left side, chin-ups, and all these basic things that make you strong and agile and coordinated, and you can take that to any sport, and really into anything that takes you through your lifetime.
Yeah. That's so true. That's a good way to put it. It is a good foundation.
It really is. It really is a great foundation, especially for the young ones.
Oh, yeah. So, Beth, what made you, or how do you kind of navigate balancing the business side and the coaching side? I guess you're not as involved in the coaching side anymore as you once were, but how did you kind of navigate that process?
It was tough. It was tough because for the longest time my heart was in coaching. And so that's where I spent all my hours. And, the business side was kind of a chore, something that kind of had to be done on the side to keep things moving. I've been really fortunate in the fact that when my husband started coaching full time, he was able to bring up these amazing coaching staff that works with him. And these people have such a passion and they're so good with what they do that I've been able to kind of step into the business end and realize that I really am still coaching. I'm just coaching my staff.
Yes.
And I'm developing my company. So it's really the same thing. It's just it's different, but it's in a lot of ways it's exactly the same.
Yeah, I've never thought about that, but that's very, very true. Mm-hmm. So speaking of development and business growth, do you have a special announcement?
I do. Salem Gymnastics and Swim is physically expanding our gymnastics portion of our program.
Oh my gosh.
We are taking this 27,000 square foot building and we're adding on an additional 7,200 square feet, which is as close to Country Club Road as Winston-Salem will allow us to go.
Oh my gosh.
We'll be doing that during 2024 is when this expansion is going to place. And what's going to happen with that is we have, if you've been inside Salem Gymnastics facility, you know that at one end there's preschool gymnastics, and then there's school-age gymnastics, and then there's competitive gymnastics, and it kind of grows as it moves down the building. Well, with this expansion, we're going to take the competitive and bump them down to the far end. And in that middle space, we're going to expand our school-age programs from one size to 3 sizes.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be super exciting. So one space is going to be dedicated to beginner girl gymnastics every hour, every day. all week long. So we'll be able to take all these new young folks who want to get in and just learn to do a cartwheel, learn how to flip over on the bar, get some of that basic foundation in their bodies. Again, we were talking about that basic coordination that's so important. That'll happen in the beginner girls section. We'll also have a section just for intermediates and advanced and recreational team kids. So those are the girls that have kind of been squeezed out over the past few years. If you're not, the superstar to go on the big team, there hasn't been a lot of space for these girls, and now there will be. Now we can really develop those girls. So girls that want to do gymnastics and love gymnastics, but maybe not devote as much time to it. Maybe they want to do other sports as well. This is their opportunity to do that.
Very cool.
The third space is going to be dedicated to 2 programs. It's going to be boys gymnastics part of the time, and it's also going to be ninja.
What is ninja?
Ninja, if you think Ninja Warrior, right?
Oh,
kind of American Ninja Warrior. We're going to have the warped walls.
Oh, my
We're going to have the
gosh.
obstacle courses.
So
We're
is
going to
it
have
parkour-like?
maybe a little bit parkour-like, absolutely. That's where the foam pit is. That's where we're going to have slack lines and climbing ropes.
That
And,
is so cool.
And plus the boys' equipment. So that's going to be a brand new program. And that, again, to go back to you mentioning boys and how does this benefit boys? Boys that want to just be active but maybe not a gymnast. They can come.
Perfect.
They can come do ninja, and
Yeah.
ninja again will be co-ed. It'll be great.
Is there an age limit for the ninja?
We're not going to go past 18.
Dang it, Beth. I get it.
I
When you get old, you get hurt easier. It takes longer to heal.
All of those things are true, and it's a whole different insurance policy.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so
I
we,
get it.
yeah, we go through high school, but we are super, super duper excited about adding this program.
So if you have kids who are in the ninja program, could be for what age to up to high school, but what's the youngest you could start
Right now,
that?
we're thinking of starting in kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
Kindergarten, because we do a lot of this ninja type stuff in our preschool class, and we're going to add a little bit more ninja flair to
Yeah.
our preschool program.
So that's like a separate program. So you would just come to the ninja classes.
Yeah, you come to ninja class, and it would be a once a week or twice a week, however many times a week, but you sign up for one specific time slot, just
Yeah.
like you do for everything else at Salem.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see videos of that.
Yeah, we've just hired our ninja director, and we're working on all our curriculum and our equipment purchases, and it's going to
my
be
gosh.
brand spanking new and just super fun.
So I want to talk briefly about, and we talked about this when you guys were on the cover recently, but about the world's best TV show that you were featured
World's
on.
Greatest. World's Greatest. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty exciting.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so World's Greatest is a show that goes out in all kinds of different markets across the country and really across the world, and they they interview different companies in different areas, and we're really looking. Primarily, they were looking initially for a swim school, but when they were speaking to us and realized we had the gym and the swim rolled into one, and what we do with our summer camps and how our summer camps have a full month of lessons in every single week of summer camp, to gymnastics lessons, to swim lessons. They were like, this is really a unique niche that really does make Salem one of the world's greatest places to bring your kids.
Oh my gosh, what an honor. That's so cool. I know that had to be a proud moment for you as a business owner.
It was really exciting, not just for me, but the whole staff got so pumped up.
Yeah.
Just did a brilliant job of making the facility just super sparkling clean, making sure all of our systems were at their peak. And they've done a beautiful job of carrying that through. So I think, they have that pride as much as any of us do.
Yeah. So if you wanted to watch that episode, could you find it online?
You could find it online, but we keep it on our website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What's your website? It's
The problem solved.
It's salemgym.com.
okay.
Yeah,
That's easy enough.
Easy enough to see that there. We also have a beautiful, we have some videos on there that were made by Forsyth Magazines. Those
Yes.
are on there as well. Links to our articles, all that you can find there.
Yeah, you guys have been advertising with us, gosh, probably since we pretty much started. If not, you were on one of our first covers of Forsyth Woman, I think, back in like 05, 06.
It was back in the day. In fact, it was back in the day. And we just love this magazine. We love the niche that it has in our community because everything just speaks to people that live here.
Yeah.
Right? It's your hometown, really what's going on magazine. And for me, it speaks to the heart and soul of the community, not just a checklist of what's happening around town.
Yeah.
So I love the magazine.
Well, we love working with you guys. We actually have I think it'll be past when this comes out, but we have a kids morning out in March. But we typically do one in March and September.
Yeah.
So if you miss out on the March one, come out in September. Kids morning out is always free, and it's just a chance for your kids to come try out gymnastics, try out swimming. It's a lot of fun.
And they'll be able to try Ninja.
Oh my gosh, yeah, in September, potentially. Well,
Probably
no.
not till next year.
Probably the next March.
Yeah, it takes a while to order a steel building and have it put on your property.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot more
Is
involved
that
than
how
one would think.
does that overwhelm you? Are you overwhelmed with that, or?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but we built the swim school from the ground up, and so I'm kind of familiar. And this one's a little bit simpler because it's just a steel building with some holes in the ground for the foam new foam
That's
pits.
definitely honest. If I had to think about it, a swim school seems way more overwhelming than a regular expansion.
It was, and the swim whole department is something new for me. Gymnastics I know, I've always been in it, but swim schools were new to me. But let me tell you, that's really an amazing industry. They're very giving, very sharing, and everyone really wants as many children to learn to swim as possible.
Yeah,
it's
just so important. I mean, for
saves
safety,
lives.
yeah,
It really does save lives.
it does. And there's people I know that are my age and older. My grandfather's a good example. He passed away, but he was always scared of the water his whole life, and it's like just because he never had the opportunity to do swim lessons because that just obviously wasn't a thing back in the day.
So I have an important question.
Yes.
I found out last night that break dancing is going to be part of the 2024 Olympics. So, as someone who, you might not believe this, used to be the vice president of the breakdancing club in the 7th grade.
No, I love it.
I'm like very intrigued with this. And the point I'm making here is, how long before Salem Gymnastics and Swim offers breaking as part of their schooling to help people prepare for their debut in the Olympics?
Wow, that is a fantastic question. Without a crystal ball, I have no idea. But it certainly seems like something that might go along with the lines of gymnastics and swimming.
Yeah, I mean, because breakdancing, for those who don't know, was very athletic and acrobatic in their stuff. So I just
It's incredible to watch.
oh yeah, I found it last night. My wife and I were talking. I'm like, did I just see that that's going to be an Olympic sport? And she goes, no way. And I looked it up. This is the first one.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
that's
like,
so
yeah.
cool. Wow. I love it. So, Beth, over the last how many ever years, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned? It's probably impossible to narrow it down to one, but what's the first that comes to mind about being a business owner and running a super successful small business?
I'd say it's really, really important to surround yourself with great people.
Yeah.
I mean, really great people. When people are always like, are you hiring? And the answer is, we're always hiring outstanding, fantastic people.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're searching for something to fill a particular need, but if someone moves to town, I'll give you an example. We had a lady move to town just a little over a year ago, and she had a ton of experience with coaching girls gymnastics, and she was moving here because her fiance is here in Winston-Salem, and wanted to know if we were hiring. Well, of course we were hiring for her. She was amazing. She had run rec programs at the YMCA. She had coached girls at nationals, and so on she came to our staff, and then 3 or 4 months later, we suddenly had an opening. And she was already there and was able to step right in and fill it.
Yeah.
So she was already working it. So, there are times that we'll overstaff for fantastic people. They're just so important. Another similar thing has happened with me, with consultants. We hired a consultant. Now she works with us all the time.
Oh, wow.
Because she just, you need people that can help challenge you, that can help poke holes in your ideas. You don't want everything to come out of your head without somebody saying, did you think about this or that? Because you don't always think about those things.
No.
And I'm always one. I'm the kind of girl that I'm a can-do girl. Like, I'll see something, I'm like, yeah, why not? To go jump into it. And I need somebody to say, did you think about this?
Yeah.
And I need that. But,
you need both. Like if you weren't that way, Salem Gymnastics and Swim would not have had the growth that it's had. You can't play it too safe, but you got to have somebody kind of checking you a little bit.
Yeah. And I can tell you too, one thing that I've kind of, my husband passed away a little over a year ago, which has really had me kind of stopping and thinking, what am I doing with my life? What does this next chapter look like? What do I want to see while I'm still here? And I've determined, my goal for this company is to make it to 100 years.
Wow.
Now we're already on year 43. So, I feel there's a good chance I'll see, at least it's halfway there and beyond. But my job now really is to raise up the next generation of leaders in a way that they know how to raise up the leaders beyond them. And that's how this company is going to make it to 100 years.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, if you think about it, gymnastics and swimming and teaching children how to move well, it's timeless. There's always going to be a need for that. You're never going to be able to pick it up off of Amazon.
AI can't do that.
AI can't do that. It's a relational kind of a company. And so we're always going to need that. And so I really feel like it's an attainable goal. And, so that's Salem. We opened in 1980. So Salem 2080 is kind of my new
love that
mantra for the company. So this expansion is a huge part of that because I want to make sure there's enough room for the children that want to grow in the company to be able to do that, to be able to grow up through high school at all levels, not just the big kids, not just the advanced gymnasts, but everybody that wants to do it. And again, we have a lot of students that teach for us. They teach swim lessons, they teach gymnastics lessons, and we have 3 staff that now coach team. I'm sorry, 4 we have 4 people that are coaching our competitive team. 5. That are coaching on our coach. I'm hoping to. They came up through Salem, right? They were Salem athletes, and they love it, and they turn right around and do it. We have people just everywhere that have come from Salem, that growth from within.
That's the ultimate testimonial, really.
Yeah, that's what I love about our company.
Oh my gosh, Salem Gymnastics and Swim 2080. I like it. That's just such a great, inspirational goal. I love that. And it's specific, and it's good. And you're so going to get there.
And there definitely be breaking.
By then, they'll be breaking plus.
Who knows what they'll be in there by then? It'll be gymnastics. It'll be swimming, breakdancing, Ninja Warrior. They're all kind of things.
Who knows? Who knows?
It's going to be great. Well, Beth, it was such a pleasure to chat with you. I could chat with you all day. We'll have to have you come back for part 2.
I would love to. I would love to. Thanks so much for having me, Brooke.
Yeah, so be sure to check out Salem Gymnastics and Swim, salemgym.com. You can watch their awesome episode on the world's greatest, and you can see all of their links to past articles that they've had in the magazine. And they're also on social media at Salem Gym. Is that right? And then, as always, you can find Forsyth Mags on social media at Forsyth Mags. And all of our content is on our website, forsythmags.com. And that is a wrap for today.
The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Whew, that's a mouthful.